Okay. All right. Let's just wait a second or two here for people to hop into the Zoom room. Welcome aboard, folks. I see you getting into the room now. All right. Great. Welcome aboard, everybody. Glad you're here. In just a moment, we'll get started. I see some names I recognize. This is great. Welcome back, folks. Those of you who have come to our sessions before, this is great to see you back here again. All right. Another 10 seconds here, and then we'll get started. Okay. All right. All right, welcome everybody. I'm Joey Spooner. I'm the Vice President for Product Development and Community Management here at Kanban University. Today I'm joined by Marcelo Walter and Pedro Cruz, and we're going to spend some time today talking through something called the maturity card game. In particular, we're going to focus on the Kanban Maturity Model and how this game can be used with that. So this is an online game. It's fun. It's interactive. I've had the chance to play it a few times now, and I'm excited to have them here with me to explain more about how this product works and how you can use it inside your organization to pull out and reveal where some maturity is and where it may need to be inside your organization for the teams that are using the Kanban method. So today I'd like to have Marcelo and Pedro kind of introduce themselves, and we're going to dive into their demo and learn more about the product. So Marcelo, would you like to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Joey. I think that I will share my screen so we can start the presentation and introduce myself and Pedro. Okay, thank you for everybody.
And while he's setting that up, if you have questions, feel free to pop them into the Q&A, and we'll try to answer them either real time or after the presentation is done.
Okay. Are you seeing my screen, right?
Yes.
So, Pedro, you are the first.
Okay. Nice to be here in the webinar with Kanban University and have everybody watching us. And I'm a Kanban trainer, and I work here at Objective as a agile consultant. And I also teach software development classes in a university here in São Paulo. And we have been working some time with Kanban and with a lot of teams. And we are glad to bring the maturity card game so we can show some different ways to measure the maturity and talk about the improvements that we can have in teams.
Okay, Marcelo Luiz Walter. I am the consultant chapter lead here at Objective Group. I am AKC also, KCP, KMP, and a lot of other ladders. And I work with Agile and for more than 20 years, and especially with Kanban for more than 10 years. So I came from technical software development, and it's an honor to me to present our product today. And that's it. Let's go.
Awesome.
Just some quick words about our company. We are from Objective, a Brazilian company, a software development Brazilian company. We work and for some big telecoms companies here in Brazil, and we also have a consultant business unit. We have 3 sites here in Brazil, 1 site in United States at Chicago since 2017. But of course, today we have some collaborators from all the world in the remote system, the new system, right? So that's it about our company. And let me show our agenda. Or Pedro.
Okay, we're gonna talk very quickly about the KMM, just to get everybody on the same page. And then we're going to talk about the assessments that we do to measure the company, the environment, and how we work with it. And we are going to show the game. It's a way that we change how we assess the teams, because we have a lot of problems when we assess the teams. And sometimes people try to prove something they don't do it, or some things that get confused, and the understanding. Some people understand in a way, and you're trying to prove other way. But throughout the game, you try to talk about and discuss the problems that the company have. So we kind of switched. Instead of talking about the practice, we talk about the problems. So we think we get more transparency on that. We're going to show during the game, and some cases, because as a consultant company, we are using the game in a lot of companies, and we have some numbers that we can show that we are having a lot of success with it.
Okay.
Excellent.
So the first question, why KMM? Why Kanban Maturity Model? I think that we don't need to explain here about Kanban Maturity Model because we are here in Kanban University. But if you don't have been registered at KMM Plus, please do it right now. Open a new tab and do the register, because believe me, it's really good documentation. You can learn a lot of this beautiful maturity model. And we want just to say why we choose Kanban maturity model, why we use really at our consultants. The first reason, because KMM is a data-driven model. In fact, we usually say that the KMM is not a created model, it's not a defined model, it's emergent model from the cases, from the studies. So it's just a set of characteristics, of a set of patterns, a set of values observed in a lot of companies where they studied. Theodora and David and others, they use it a good set of data to not to define the model, but to describe the model, to describe the levels, saying the patterns between the companies. So this is the first reason we love data-driven, and KMM is a data-driven model.
And as a maturity model, of course, we understand that it's a journey, and you have to understand where you are and find ways to get more maturity. So, but the main purpose that you have is to get more results, get more outcomes. So one type of way that we can look at it is throughout the fit for purpose organization, as with the fit for purpose model as well. And when you are lower in the maturity, you might not be getting the right results or resolving the right purpose that your company have. When you get more mature, you accomplish that purpose better. And so we're gonna, throughout the KMM, we see how we can relate the maturity with the outcomes, with the results that the company have. And we see that companies that have a better maturity has better outcomes. So that's the main reason we are looking through this. But we have to understand, how can I get more? How can I do more outcomes? How can I be more fit with the purpose that I have in my company? And how can I get better? And that's why we use the game to assess and find improvements that we might have, to use as a map, as a way to improve our company.
Okay, but when you are doing a transformation in a company, or when you start the journey to have maturity, we have usually the same problem, the problem with the assessment, because we listen to some other companies. When they talk about the assessment, usually it's a suffering process. It's not so good to do, right? And why? Because first, usually we have a long time to collect the data, right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I joined in a company. They spent, I think, 2 or 3 months just to collect the data to have the assessment, right? Sometimes we have no answer from some stakeholders, from some leaders, from some manager. Very important to the process, and they have no agenda to the interviews and to fill the forms. So it's very common to have no answers for the assessment. When we have answers, it's very common to have fake information, right? Because they usually, the assessment process is an exposition of the person, the problems, and of course they don't like to expose the problems, and it's very common to see if they are if they are using really information or fake. Usually we say that in a hierarchical, when you go down, you have the truth, right? Because usually the C-level or the mid-level, they don't like to expose so much. So you need to be careful when you are doing some assessment about the fake information. And by the end, when you present the result, usually they don't agree with you. They say, no, you are told me something wrong because I'm not in this level, and you spend a long time. You receive a lot of fake informations, and when you present, they simply didn't agree with you. So it's really a problem.
And here in Brazil, we have a historical that some companies try to use CMM and ISO and process, and we had a process, a Brazilian process at MPSBR, something like that. And when companies have passed through this kind of process, they come more resistant to talk about maturity, and they think they're gonna have a number, they're gonna have a way to prove that they are that number, that thing that they are trying to prove. So it makes more fake informations. It makes more of ways for them to prove that they don't do something, but they must prove that they do, so they get a better number on that. So that's a lot of things that messes with it, and we have a lot of problems when we do assessments, as questioning, as reviews, as meetings with everybody, right? So we have used the game to change this scenario, and with the game you just play and learn. You have a way more fun to talk about your company. And since we have switched the way, instead of talking about the practice, so they don't need to prove the price, they have to talk about the problems. It's more a way to play and learn, and it's adaptable to your context, and you don't need more than your context, because you're going to talk about the problems that you have on your company, and you're the specialist. You know everything about your company. And we have used in different levels, C levels, operational levels, mid levels, using the game. And we see that they don't even have to know the KMM or Kanban to play it. But if they know, they're going to do it better. But they might start without knowing. And when they try to improve and try to understand, how can I improve this problem? And then we come with the practice from Kanban to connect with the KMM and connect with the problems that they have. And the game was created based on Cornucopia and Dixie games. And Marcelo can talk a little bit more about these games that we based on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Cornucopia is a game to have something like a maturity for DevOps, for security in fact. And Dixit is a board game to when you have a board and you have votes and etc. So it's a little bit similar to how we created this game. And how it works. We have a lot of cards in the game, but each card have some characteristics. We have the points represented by a number, or Jack, Queen, King here. So it represents how many points this card has. We have a dimension, so we are here talking about some Kanban dimensions like limit width. I don't remember, visualize and etc. All the dimension. I think that's 6 dimensions, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
And here we have a scenario. In fact, we have here a kind of problem commonly we have in the company. So the idea is to talk about this scenario and check if here we have a real scenario in our company, in our organization, in our department. We will try to show a little bit more directly in the game here during the webinar. So just to know what we have in each card.
So how do we play? When we have a deck of cards, we choose 4 to 8 players or pairs. If you have more people to play the game, you might use pairs to have more discussions. And we suggest a time box of 2 to 3 hours to go through all the deck. But if you have less time, you can go through part of the deck, and at least you're going to talk about the problems on the company. You're going to understand more your environment. And when we bring up the people to play, we need a purpose to do it. So we're going to evaluate the maturity of the group of point of view. So we have to choose which maturity we are talking about. We are talking about a department on the company. We are talking about the whole company. We have to understand what it's the purpose that we are going to play. And every card, Marcelo just showed an example of a card. They have a scenario with a problem, and we have to answer to all the cards. Does this scenario happen in my environment, my job environment, in the environment that you chose to talk about during the game? And throughout this question, you're going to answer this question. You're going to have people trying to prove that scenario happens, because they have a card, they want to get points on the game, and they say, yes, this scenario happens in my team, in this environment, because of this, because of that. And the other person says, no, I don't agree with you, and they discuss the problems in the company. That's the main idea here during the game. And if 50% or more of the group agree or disagree with the card, you're going to choose this card we're going to give attention or not. So if 50% of the group says, no, we don't have that problem, you discard, because you want to have the cards that you have the most of the problems. And if you are discarding a lot of cards, you might change a little bit if how you grade this. But when we do 50%, we get a lot of cards to work on. We get a lot of problems already to work on. So that's a good scenario.
Yeah, here we have, I think, that one of the first trick in the game. We are they are winning points when they have some cards with a real problem in the company. So to make points, you need to convince the others that this problem is real for your company. So this is the opposite of the normal assessments. They try to prove to the others, oh, we have this problem. Do you remember this case last week? And they say about it. And it's interesting because they are really playing a game and they want to win the game. That is the idea why the game has this successful case, because as they are not they are talking about the company, but they are doing they are playing a game. So they don't try to hide the problem. They try to prove that the problem is in the company, right?
Awesome.
And each round, just to how we work in the game. In each round, we choose one card dimension. In fact, we have at least in the first session when you run the game, we have one guy as a facilitator to the game to conduce, to lead the game. So during the online game is interesting to have also. You don't need a coach. You don't need a someone from Objective. You just need someone to conduce the game. And in each round, we choose one card dimension. Each player pick a card from this dimension and place it face down in the center of the table. If you don't have the dimension, they choose some card to return to the deck and shuffle. Turn all selected cards up and read each of them. So we will read all the problems in the cards, and we have the question: does the scenarios happen in my job environment? They vote on the card reflecting most benefit with less effort. So the idea is when you have the selected card with the real problems in your company, they need to vote which problem should be the first to be solved. That's the ideas, because after the game you will have a backlog of the problems to be solved, prioritized by not only by the vote, prioritized by the levels of this problem, but also checking the votes from the players. Each card we have some points, so each player have some score. When we need to sum the card value plus 2 points per vote plus 3 points if unanimity. All of these rules we have explained in the card and also in the online game. We have some special cards, Jack, Queen, King, and Ace with more points, right? Because usually we have some critical problems in these cards, because that's the idea. So if you have this critical problem, we suggest to start to solving these problems first. Usually, these problems in these cards is from the maturity level 0 or 1. So that's we need to fix first, and after distribute a new card for everyone. So they have 7 cards again. We play with 7 cards in the hands, and a new round begins. That is just the idea how it work. We have so. Let me remember then. How many cards we have, Pedro? Just to. I think
Around 80 to 90.
Yeah, 80 to
cards.
90. Usually, we need to play at least 50% to have a good report, right? Because if you play just some cards, okay, you can see how it works, but to have a good report, at least we suggest to play 50 or 60%. Okay, the best way is to play all the cards, so you have a completely assessment using the game. Right?
So let me resume. So each round you're gonna have 7 cards to play, and so for each round you're gonna choose 1 card from your hand that you think that problem happens, that it's a real problem in the company. Why you choose that way? Why you use this? Because that's how you get points. If you put a problem that really happens and everybody votes on that problem to solve first, you're going to have a lot of points. Sometimes people choose the cards that have numbers higher because you have the value of the cards from 2 to 10. It's the number, it's the points that you're going to get. And the cards, Jack, Queen, and K, and Ace, they have more points. Usually the people choose these cards first to get more points. But if that problem doesn't happen, you're just throwing a card away. You don't have to just look for the higher card. You have to find the problem that really happens. And when you put your card and everybody votes on the cards and they talk about the cards, they're going to talk because we have to ask everybody, does this scenario happens? And the card that you chose, you're going to say, yeah, I think this scenario happens because that day that thing happened in that department with that person, with that project or something like that. And everybody's will agree or they will discuss about the problem. During this discussion, people might have ideas to solve or understand better the company. And sometimes we see people saying, oh, you see that problem as well? Oh, I thought that was only with me. And the other person says, I have this problem as well. And me too. And then you understand, oh, man, the whole company has this problem. So we have to solve
it's
this.
It's a system problem. It's not from one department, but a system problem usually.
And since you want to get points, you have to prove that the problem happens. And when we finish one round, we have talked about, for example, limit whip. So everybody choose a card from limit whip, and when we talk about limit whip on different scenarios that everybody put on the table, and we agree which ones we have problems, and we keep the ones that we have problems and vote for each one. Then we get another card and we choose another dimension. Now let's talk about visualization, and everybody picks a card from visualization. So you go through all the cards and you talk about all the problems that you have in your company, and the discussion is very rich, and we are really talking about the company, not just trying to prove that we do some practice or not. So that discussion is the beauty that happens during the game. I have some questions here.
Yeah. I think that you can answer both first and second question. I will say to you because is really related what you were talking right now. So from Leonardo, good afternoon. How to better select the people who will answer the cards? My squad or the board? And another question from Juliana related to this one. Hi, Pedro. When we have people from operational teams and C-level in the same group, how can we create a security environment for promoting a real discussion?
Excellent questions. The first one from Leonardo. It's good to understand that you're going to evaluate one environment. If you want to do with your squad, you're going to evaluate how that squad is working, the problems that they face, how they are doing their job, and how can we get more outcomes? How can we improve our environment? When you talk with the board, you're going to talk about the whole company. You're not going to talk about that squad that you don't work on it. You're going to talk about the board. You're going to talk about the whole company. So first of all, you have to understand which one, what is the environment that we're going to talk about. And we have used sometimes in retro or in environments that we take people out of their job for some time and talk about the company. We have done with squads, we have done with mid-level, and we have done as well as with C-levels. But connecting to the second question, it's good to have the same levels during the discussion, because when we mix one from operation with one from C-level, they are not going to be so transparent. So in our experience, it's better to separate. When we're going to talk about the squad, we have the people from the squad to talk about and everything. And it's not good to have somebody from C-level to talk about the problems on the squad, because they are not going to be so transparent during the game. And you might lose the discussion. That is the beauty. And
okay,
also,
I think that if we have a company with a really high maturity level, you can try to mix level with operation, but you need to know we have this transparency only in high maturity level. So our suggestion is to separate, to start in a separate way.
Mm-hmm.
So Marcelo, you get the other questions. As far
Okay.
as I'm going to read for you. As far as I understood, it also helps in terms of determining our retro actions.
Yeah, sure, of course, but we don't suggest to run all the months. We suggest to have at least a new session in 3 months or 6 months, because we are talking about the maturity level, organizational maturity level, and in only 3 months or only in one month, you cannot see probably a new level. So we suggest to use the maturity game in the retro, but at least each 3 months to have a better way to go in the journey. Of course, that the backlog of the practice suggested by the maturity card game is interesting to follow during the retrospective, but a new round we prefer to wait a little bit more.
The other questions from Ruben, we are going to show 2 slides away we are from the how we scores the points, but let's jump to the other question from Arthur. It's, what about playing in a high level maturity company? I'm curious about the effectiveness, the problems approached, how it was.
Yeah, we will show in the end of the presentation. Yeah. We will share with you.
These are some images. Go.
Yeah. No, go. Let's go.
These are some images of we playing the game with different teams, and here in Brazil and in Argentina as well. We have played the game, and a photo below with the cards, the physical cards. Here we have explained how you use the physical cards to play, and you might have the physical cards to play with it as well. And Dimitri asked, could this game be run only by your company? I'm thinking about implementing it in my company. And
Yeah, sure.
Marcelo said very fast before, so I think that not everybody got it. We sell this game, so you can buy the game and you can use in your company, and we have online version as well. So this photo is from a physical cards that you play on present. You can do it that with your team in local, but we have online game as well, and we are going to show it here.
Yeah.
And this is how we score the points. You want to go, Marcelo? Oh, I go. And so we have a website. You can put a computer side by side when you are playing the physical cards, or if you are playing the online game, they generate by itself. If you're using the physical cards, you can have a computer to register the points, and so you put the names of everyone that is playing, and when they put the cards and you find the cards that happens that they have real problems in the company, and you vote and say, let's solve this problem first, so that problem second, and you get the points. You say the number of the cards, how many votes you have, and if you have unanimity, and you point some points for example, if we are playing here Joey, me and Marcelo, and we put some points for Joey because his card happens, and Marcelo the other points because his card is a scenario that happens as well. But my card didn't happen. We say we discarded because we agreed that that scenario doesn't happen. So I get 0 points on that round. And when you play a lot of rounds, you finish the time that you have or all the cards, you generate the report. And that's what we are showing here. We generate the report saying what level it's not what level someone have assessed that you have. It's what level you have played and you have said, we have these problems that is focused on this level or on that level. And we do generate as well as from the practice, if we have more problems from feedback loops or from managing flow or limit whip, you see the concentration as well, where you have more problems or where you don't have any problems, you might see that as well. One more click, Marcelo. And we generate the ECM format from KMM. So you can use as a report to go through daily basis to what did you find during the game and how can we do everything. But we didn't show one thing that's very important. It's how can we relate those problems to the possible solution? How can we solve those problems? Each card, go back to the card, Marcelo, please. Okay. We have some slides back. Each card has a QR code on them that relates to the practice. That's why Marcelo said, if you have not signed to KMM Plus, do it now, because this QR code goes to KMM Plus and says which practice from Kanban resolves that scenario, that problem. And
you can try right now. If you put your camera pointing to this card, you will link to the practice that solve this kind of problem.
So when you finish the game and you have the report, you have the lists of cards that you have decided that we have this problem, and you have the links. So when we generate the reports, we give all the links from each card that you can look forward to see, oh, so that's how I'm going to solve this problem, that we're using this practice, using this way. So you have you might have a backlog of improvements that you might implement in your environment.
Yeah, and here we have also a graph to show areas you dominate. It's related to the dimensions where you have most of the the problem solved. So the cards you discarded means that you don't have this problem, right? So for instance, in this example, they discard 4 cards from manage flow. So probably they have a good idea. They have some good practice about manage flow, but they don't have any cards discarded about feedback loops. So it means that probably they need to act with some practice in this dimension, right? And here it is the opposite. Which areas we need to improve? And so, for instance, here, most of the problems are about visualize. So they have a problem in visualize. But about make policy explicit, we don't have any cards. So that's the idea, to have a quantitative. Oh, sorry,
Quantitative?
yes, sorry.
Yes.
Graphic about the cars. So it's like here we have explaining each card and each practice, and here we have some numbers, right? Well, I can just to show to you here in the camera our cards, right? Here we have a Portuguese version, but we have Portuguese and English version cards, and here in the screen we have the online version. I will try to show to you right now. If I will try to check if it's working, but I think that yes. And my
So
idea
just to
is
answer one of the questions here, when you get ready,
why
Marcel.
yes.
Peter asked if we have English versions for the physical game as well. So we have the English and Portuguese, both for physical and online. And we are working on the Spanish version.
Yeah. Okay, so here we have the maturity card game website, and here when you click and play now, you need to of course you need to register, but here we have the rooms that I created two rooms here, and here you can just click on join room, and you have some screen like this one. Just to confirm, are you seeing my screen,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So here I am the facilitator of this game, and I added 2 players, player 1 and player 2. I will show to you. I open it in an anonymous tab, player 1 and player 2 here, right? So here is the screen from player 1, here is the screen from player 2, and here is the screen from facilitator, just to show how it works. So the facilitator can start the game. Okay, so we started the game here. The facilitator cannot see the cards, but if you see the player 1 and player 2, each one has the cards in their hands, right? So here is the cards from player 1, here is the cards from player 2. And the first round is about the domain manage flow. So the idea is each of the player must select one card from manage flow. So I will try to check here. We have some from limit whip, improve and evolve, limit whip, make policy explicit, and here a manage flow card. So I will choose this one, and I will play as the player one this one. So here is the card. Take a view here. The player 2 cannot see still the card, and he needs to also to select some cards for manage the flow. Here we have one card for manage the flow. Okay, I will play with these cards. So
if some of the players don't have a card from that dimension, they have to choose any card from their hand to put back on the deck. So when we use the online game, it says already that you don't have cards from this dimension. Choose one to give back to the deck. So when you use the online game, it's everything automated. So you just do things that you can do. So when Marcelo clicked on the card, it just had the option to play it, and you can get it back. And the card that don't match the dimension, you cannot play it. So it's everything. It's automated, so you play more fluid.
okay, so both players put the cards in the table, and I will return here and go to next step. Next step is to validate the scenario. So here we have both cards. Okay, validate scenario, and let me take here. So the facilitator will flip the card, and here we have, and we will read the scenario to all the players. So Martin knows that some items are blocked from being done, the delaying delivery, but he needs to know what the items are and why they are blocked. So the idea here to check if this we need to solve the scenario, or it's solved or not applicable. So I will say that, okay, we need to solve the scenario. So it remains here. And the second one, I will flip. This is the other, just to show when I flip the cards, all the players can see the same scenario, right? Just to follow what the facilitator is doing. So the team fails to meet the customer's deadline expectation as their estimate are never satisfied. Oh, it's just only on another country, not here, right? We fail with the deadline expectation. Okay, we need to solve this one. This is the idea. So right now, the idea is they need to vote. They need to vote each which one problem is the criticalist, right? So I will check, for instance, I will vote. The player one will vote in these cards, and the second player will vote at this card, for instance.
And see that they don't see the vote from the other player. So they don't get indications of the votes from the others.
Influences from other votes, right? That's the idea. And okay, next steps, vote closed, and we can check a new round. Right now, we can see here, yeah, let me see where I can see the vote. The points is here, new round. Yeah. So I start a new round, and here I can see the player one has 8 points, the player two has 4 points. And why? Because they have one vote here, so 6 points from the cards and plus 2 points from the votes. Also here, when we have a lot of players playing the game, usually they will vote in some specific cards. Usually they vote in the highest critical problem. So that's the idea. Usually we have 2 or 3 cards voted, and we have the points only when we get a new round, so that's point they know how many points each player wins in the last round. That's the idea. So here I started a new round, and we have again 7 cards from player 1 and player 2, and here the idea is to talk about make policies explicit. So that's the idea. So here we have 1 card for make policies explicit. I will play with this one, and oh yeah, here we have with player 2, we have no cards with make policies explicit, right? Are you seeing? We have only for the other dimension. So in this case, he needs to discard a card. So for instance, I will discard this card here. I will discard, and at this round, we will discuss only about one problem.
So a question from Milan. How many people can play at once? It's a maximum of 8 players.
We suggest.
But on the online game, you have a limit of 8 persons on the table, or 8 names on the table. On the physical game, you might play more, but we suggest that you keep with 8 players as well, because the round gets too long if you put a lot of players, and the discussion gets too much, takes too much time. So you go through all the cards, but you can try with different number of people. And thus the online version can run 2 games in parallel for same account, or how many, or do you provide a trial version? And you said there is no coach needed. Do you provide some facilitation guidance to navigate to the elements? So go ahead, Marcelo.
Yeah, just yeah, I will talk about the demo version, about the I think that the trial, the rules in some slides. Just I think that we can just finish the explanation, and I will send to you some links. Just to talk again about the assessment with maturity card. So instead of long time to collect, we have only 2 or 3 hours to have a good evaluation. We have high engagement from the team. It's really interesting when you put a game. They engage a lot. So 3 hours, it's like it's very fast. So because you are playing a game, so it's very interesting to check the high engagement, to talk about the problems, to talk about the assessment. Usually we don't have fake information because they are focused in the problems. They try to prove the problems to win the game. And at the end, they agree with the report because they discuss it. They decided. They can see we decided that we are in this level because we choose the cards. We choose this kind of problems we have.
And some testimonials from teams that we have played, who in Tração Online, Mercosul Line, BTG Pactual. It's a bank. And so we have played in different companies with different environments and industries. One more, Marcelo, please. And here a company from industrial sector that we have played the game in this time. We collected the data from the team, and when we played the game, and they really engaged in the game, and they chose to do all the improvements that the game suggested. And we can see the data that they got more outcomes because they improved. And the game helped them improve, helped them understand where to improve.
Just to what's next, Spanish version. Today we have it in English, Portuguese. If you want any other language, please contact us to work together, new version. And we are thinking about other maturity version, about DevOps, UX, security, etc. So here is the link. We have in the maturitycard.com. So I will just to show to you. Here is the website, and here you have the game rules to check how to prepare, how is the game, how to win the game, how we can have the points, and etc. Just a second. Here we can have this curve form. Here it's a page to help you to register the points from the physical game, right? So you can register the players, and you can just put the votes, and you will have at the end the winner, how many points each player has during the game, and you can generate the report as we showed during the webinar. And to play the online, you have here the rooms. So if you want to have a trial version, just click here in buy it, and if you pre-order, you will receive a link in your email to play a trial version. We are just now we are thinking in 30 days, right, Pedro? Around 30 days to trial. Just send an email in the form to us. We can provide to you this trial version, and you can choose if you want to continue or not playing the online version. The physical version, we try to put in the Amazon until today. In fact, we have here in the Amazon, but it's currently unavailable because we need some approval from Amazon. We think that tomorrow, or at least on Friday, we will have this one available in Amazon. Right.
Some logistics.
Sorry for yeah,
something about lead time. There's something about lead time there. I just don't know what yet, right?
Yeah, and so here we have the links. Also in the maturitycard.com, we have also the link for the Amazon. So we can inform you if you register, if you have interest. We can put in the we can inform you when we will be available in the Amazon. And here we have also a QR code. We want really your feedback. Yeah, here during the webinar, we had a lot of questions and feedbacks. But of course, if you want to send to some other feedback or question, you can use this form to contact us.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Marcelo and Pedro, for your time doing this webinar with us. This is really deep stuff. It's challenging material to get through in an hour to say this is how you run an assessment in a game format. But hopefully the folks here who joined got something out of it and they understand a little bit of how to play it. And I would encourage them to just go out and give it a try. I've tried it a few times. I found it to be really informative. Once you start to play with it, you realize how you can actually reveal the evidence that's there, rather than to get people to try it and somehow surface evidence in their own creative minds. I've been a part of assessments before, so I've been able to say, oh, we're really close to that. We're just going to say, yes, we do that, versus, hey, we actually do have that problem and we did solve it, or no, we didn't. And that really provides a lot more, I think, pathway for people to say, where do we need to go to next? And I think this tool could really help people in planning out where they need to go next in terms of their maturity pathway. So this has been a lot of fun. Hopefully folks here remotely got a chance to kind of experience it and understand it more. And again, if you want to know more about it, go to maturitycard.com. Thank you, Marcelo and Pedro. This was great. I really appreciate you guys being here today.
Thank
you
you,
very
Jay.
much.
Thank you
Awesome.
from all. Thank you very much.
Great. All right,
That's very
everybody,
nice.
have a great day.
Thank you.